Shoot.
Pickle. What's the front time, bitch?
Hey guys, what's going on? You are listening to The Prototype, and this is our annual Game Awards show coverage for, well, the Game Awards. I am one of your hosts today. I am Mike the Birdman, who may be a little quieter than normal because I think I'm losing my voice, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, I'm joined from the lovely city of Kitchener, Ontario, Canada, by my brother, my co-host, the guy who's kept the lights running for the last several years.
Alex, the producer.
And of course, from the state of New Jersey that is currently being invaded by unidentified aerial phenomena.
It's Ken from this anime, and oh boy, there is a lot to...
The government officially is saying that they're manned aircraft, but won't say where they're from, or can't say they can track them.
Yeah.
And then other people are saying that they're going to shoot them down with shotguns.
I love our current
That
news
sounds
cycle.
like New Jersey for you.
And like Fox News is covering it because all the people saying that they're flying around Trump's properties. So they're like, some people on Fox News on the forums, you know, the people that write in there, half of them are, the conspiracy is that it's Trump building up his own defense force, and then the other half are people saying we have to protect Trump because they're going to try to assassinate him with these drones. And it's like, and I'm thinking, like, you think if their drones were that big and there's that many of them, that and they're being seen as widely as they are, that people would be really using it as like a plot to kill the president? Like, you would know by now. It's not. But what I wouldn't put it past is a freaking company doing a publicity stunt where they're building their newest drone tech, and they're basically using it to get free advertising, and then it turns out they're going to get in huge shit because the military is now making no-fly zones across certain areas.
Good times. So anyway, guys, we are here to talk about the Game Awards, such as they might be, and to give my very brief overview of this, I was bored, and I know I'm in the minority because I was talking on Blue Sky for this.
So many people are going like, this is one of the best years. I don't think it's as great as Joker and Smash. Like, that is by far number one.
It's the
greatest
best year
pop
since the pandemic years of the Game Awards.
For sure. For sure.
The big issue I had with this is, for every really freaking awesome thing that was announced or shown off, there was another ho-ho-verse copycat game that looks almost 100% identical. I can't tell them apart, where they're boring and just appear vapid and pointless. And it was like, there were like 15 long commercials for these games that will
they make so much money,
but that have no artistic merit and will never win any awards themselves except for ongoing game. Yeah. And it was like stuff for markets. Like, I don't know, and this is a thing I was pondering all night, is this, like, are the people that play these games generally don't play very many other games? They play only that style of game, either mobile or if they do have a computer or console.
A good chunk.
They literally, it's like Madden players who only play like Call of Duty and Madden, but different. Like, there are people that only play these specific style of waifu games, and they only play those games. They'll think that the story is great because they've never played anything else that actually has a proper story. But like, they'll love it, and God bless them. They can love whatever they want. But are these people ever going to watch the Game Awards? Like, who are they marketing to? They're like, I think
China.
Anybody that wants to play these games already does. And anybody who is that super into these games that they would be hyped with this, are not going to watch the rest of the Game Awards. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's weird. But obviously, Jeff, take their money.
Yeah.
But at that point, that kept bringing me down. I would be hyped, and I'm like, another one of these freaking waifu live service garbage games,
or another live service hero shooter.
Yeah, or another Fortnite mode, or another.
I'm actually really glad you brought up the kind of live service hero shooters. It very much surprises me there was not something here for Marvel Rivals, with them not doing like an exclusive drop or something.
Because it's doing well and doesn't need to be there.
Yeah,
it does.
Like,
it has eaten Overwatch's lunch single-handedly.
Oh yeah, Overwatch 2 is, in my opinion, it's dead. Like it's fun, but you're not as engaged as you were in Overwatch 1. And like, I got Overwatch 2 as a birthday present when it launched. Like, I know it was free to play, but I got the cool version that got all the new skin.
All the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I've played that game a grand total of 3 times. And that sucks because I used to be a very competitive Overwatch player. I've played Marvel Rivals almost every day for at least 30 minutes. But what I was saying before, like kind of previously, there wasn't a lot this year I was just overly thrilled with. And I said to Ken, I said this to you, and I even posted this on Blue Sky. I was like, am I old, or do I just not care anymore?
You're old. A lot of it is like the market that they're marketing to is Gen Z and Gen Alpha, and they play these games that we don't like.
And it's weird because, like, I was expecting, honestly, there was one category where a mobile game got nominated, and I actually played that game. I played the Pokemon one, big fucking surprise. I'm not surprised it didn't win because Balatro won or whatever.
Balatro,
so that's cool.
It got like 100 million downloads.
Yeah. So that's
$100 million, and it's a paid app.
Yeah. So
it beat
all right,
Minecraft.
Cool. Yeah,
it beat Minecraft. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, some of the wins, and then we'll get into the actual show itself. Or actually, I guess we'll go around the table to talk about everyone's views.
It's going to be mostly stream of thought, but we have broken this up into a little bit. We're going to talk about the awards that were won, and then we'll get into the trailers and stuff, which is sort of how we sort of end each year, where we get speculative into what looks good for the future.
Yeah, I mean, overall, though, my thoughts this year, in terms of awards, a lot of the wins I was very pleased with. Like Astrobot coming out as strong as it did, that's fucking great. I love that.
Yeah.
ReFantazio winning the awards that it did, that's fucking great. Seeing something like Helldivers win, that surprised me. Well, that is fucking great.
What is it? It's a live service game that does not nickel and dime you.
Yeah, it's just, hey,
it doesn't
cool
nickel. It doesn't nickel and dime you, and two, even despite Sony's best effort to fuck it up, they have successfully weathered all the shit that happened earlier this year with the whole PSN stuff.
It's a very different style of game. It's not like all of the Korean and Chinese ones play and look the exact same. They have the same battle systems, the same graphics engines, the same character designs. You could take one character from every single one of the Chinese or Korean ones that they showed here. There had to be like 10 games or more. If you took one character from each game and put them all in one game, you would not be able to tell that they weren't all from the same game. Is bad art.
Though I will say Hoyoverse has a very specific art style that I can immediately peg.
Well,
when
the
it's
problem
not
is
Hoyoverse.
Now people are copying Hoyoverse.
Yeah.
Like now
people
they're
are copying
copycats.
Hoyoverse, but they're not 100% copying Hoyoverse, and I can tell.
You know what's bad when I saw Infinity
I can tell
Nikki,
what's Hoyoverse and what isn't.
Yes.
Oh, Infinity Nikki is the kind of I made this comment in my brain. I'm like, Infinity Nikki is the kind of game that stupid idiot marketing people think girl gamers play, but in reality, it's just a bunch of basement dwellers.
It's the weeb game to be all weeb games, but beyond that, I looked at it. It's bad when I looked at it and went, "This looks infinitely more appealing." No pun intended, than the contemporaries that it's competing against.
It also reviewed pretty well.
Well, like when we watch the trailer by itself, I'm like, yuck, I don't want this. And then if you watch that trailer next to all of the Hoyoverse and copycat stuff from China and Korea, you go, oh, this looks somewhat unique. and
it looks like an actual game.
Like there's platforming, there's a little bit of everything. It's a cozy game versus the never-ending anime waifu games. But yes, end of rant.
Crap.
I think, Mike, that might be part of it. Was there was bogged down a lot with a lot of trailers for things that are not interesting, not just to you, but to most people watching the Game Awards.
And the only thing that really had me excited and actually had Blair excited, we're like, oh, that looks cool. Oh, it's AI. Shit. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, there's a few things that could have been.
That fucking cat game. I'm thinking, all right, that looks cool. And then I look on Blue Sky and I'm thinking, oh, it's AI. Oh, fuck off.
Yeah. Catly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. Yeah.
I still don't know how to play solitaire. I mean, I play Pokemon Go. Dragon Ball Legends is a game I've picked up in the last couple of weeks, and I play that Pokemon opening card.
Oh, the TCG Pocket is so much fun just to battle people randomly.
See, I've never tried battling. I just open cards because I don't want to buy the real cards anymore. I bought a bunch this year, and I'm thinking, you know what? I've got enough to build a deck and be competitive. I'm good. Unless I get all my evolutions, then I'm fine. But still, I'm good.
And hey, they just announced the next.
Shut up, Ken. Shut up, Ken. I know what you're talking about. Don't encourage me.
Okay, fine.
Well, I was going to say, I don't play. I play on my phone only when I have to review things because I try to keep my phone a separate thing so I don't get sucked in for 12 hours at a time.
The most I have is Balatro that I have on my phone because, of course, I bought that.
I had considered that, and I had been trying to look for a good Clubhouse Games alternative, and then I just went screw it. I went into the deep dark hole that is my storage closet and pulled out my DSi and just started playing Clubhouse Games on there for the last 2 months. I was like, that tells you how old I am. It's like, you know what? Instead of doing it on my damn phone, I'm just going to play it on my DSi. And then I was like, I'll play it for a few minutes. And then I was like, oh no, it's been 4 hours.
Yep, sounds about right.
But also, crazy enough, my DSi had been in there for 9 months in the closet, and it still had a 90% battery charge. And this is like a DSi from how long ago?
Oh yeah, same with my DSi. I love my DSi.
The battery that just won't quit. There's the Energizer Bunny. But yes, so we may as well go into. I'll just sort of rapid fire through some of these. I cut out all of the esports stuff because
crap because we don't.
Jeff doesn't care about it. He throws it all on the pre-show and they rapid fire through it.
Yeah, I mean, to speak very kind of briefly on the esports stuff, unless you play COD, I don't know you. League of Legends, I only know tangentially, and even then, if my life depended on it, I'm a dead person. The esports stuff, sure, I'm glad you won. Cool. Of course League was going to win here. No shit.
Well, and my brother only watches Counter-Strike and Siege, and that's it.
Yeah, now, if Jeff wants to make this interesting, and I'm just going to propose a very interesting change here. League gets its own category, best team for League, best personality in that, because the League wins almost every year. Make it other games, right?
Or make
Dota, sure. Counter-Strike, sure.
You could have, if you really wanted to expand it, you have a few categories. You make it best esports MOBA, best esports this team, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but this is okay, sure. And even with the ongoing content creators, just to speak about that for 30 seconds, I don't know any of these guys. And we are denizens of the internet, which is great, but I don't know. There are no gaming YouTubers that I follow on the regular like that.
Well, here's the thing. The people I follow aren't the kind of people that will go for those awards anyway. Yeah,
the guys that I follow, I follow Internet Today. There's a guy I like on YouTube called JV Gaming, Big Dan Gaming. I think it's called AG Bolt or Jeremy Penter, I think his name is, and like a few other guys. Like I don't follow the gaming space a lot because we are the gaming space, and I'm not saying we're so fucking cool. It's
No,
just like
we have colleagues and people we know that we'll check in on, but
yeah,
like,
and that's it.
and when it comes to like, best, or when it's like best like influencer, or they have like the best creator and all
Also-
this, it's always like somebody who screams at the top of their lungs nonstop.
Yeah,
Or,
but also another thing is,
Mhm.
I know you watch a lot of live streaming, Mike, but
Not
I
as
know
much
I
as you might
pers-
think anymore.
but like
But yeah,
again, live stream. A lot of these people live stream,
Mhm.
and that environment, it just kind of turns me off on a lot of content
like
when you do live streaming.
like I like live streaming. Like I used to watch a friend of mine named Fuya
There's-
quite a bit, but
Yeah,
I
there's
don't
only,
like,
like-
League. I just and
Yeah.
it's nothing personal. It's just I don't enjoy that game. Like I
there's-
love watching COD
Yeah.
and Fortnite, but I don't enjoy
yeah.
this.
There's
I mean,
only a handful of handful of streamers that I watch specifically because they're old school. Like they're just super old school. Like Proton John's a guy I consistently follow, and I've followed for over a decade and a half, and he is super old school retro gamer.
I might watch Maximilian Dude, but only because he's a
Yeah,
Marvel
every
guy.
time.
Well,
Yeah, every so often I'll watch Max.
I'll
Of
watch
course.
people like if I get a game, because sometimes I get RPGs like a month or 6 weeks or 8 weeks early, and me, I'll blast through it for reviews like, they've given you 6 weeks to get the review ready before embargo lists, and 5 days later I'm done, and then I sleep for 2 days or whatever. But
weren't
I'll
you
do-
like the first person to beat Sea of Stars?
Yes. I was the first person that wasn't in their dev or testing team to beat it, because when I beat it, I found a couple bugs and asked about it in their they had a Discord
Review
set up
chat.
that was
Yeah.
specifically for media to ask questions, and I asked a question that at 2 a.m. Montreal time, they responded back. They woke up the project lead because I found a game breaking bug. And they're like, what platform did you play it on? This is like, and you're where already? And I was like, and what? And then I was like, yeah. And I said, well, what about this? Like, what is this supposed to mean? And the guy's like, oh, damn it, that's like the post game secret. Like, don't post this in with the other media here. Ask us a private question. And I did. He's like, how did you beat it that quickly? And I'm like, I didn't beat it quickly. How many hours? And I told him the hours. Took a screenshot. Like, and the. The team member said, "Please, Alex, please sleep." that's all I got. I got in like the French Canadian like I could tell they're reading it that English is their second language, and it was just Alex, please sleep. But thank you for the feedback. And so there's that. Like, but I'll get RPGs early, right? Like, we didn't get Final Fantasy VII early, but I blasted through it. But like other times when I've gotten games early, I've beaten them. And then what I will do is it'll be like almost a month since I've played the game before our review comes out. I'll have it ready to go. And our review will come out, and then sometimes I'll be like, you know what? It's been a month. I wonder what other people's opinions are. I will then go onto Twitch and find a few random people. I'll find people that I would say are on the similar level to like me. I'm not saying like in like quality as a journalist, but I mean as in somebody who's been playing RPGs
Seniority.
as long. Yeah, seniority.
Yeah.
People have been playing RPGs as long as I have that I would think have a similar taste, and I'll watch them play to see if their reactions are going to be the same as what I had, or if I misinterpreted something entirely. And then I'll go and find people that have like never played games like that before, that are playing it and streaming it, just to see what their reactions are. And that's interesting to me. So
Yeah.
that's what I'll do. Or I'll go on to Twitch and I'll watch something weird. Like I'll be like, hey, I didn't really play a lot of PC games back in the DOS era. Somebody's going through the original Ultima games, and I'll be like, let's watch what a playthrough of Ultima is, because I do not want to play that game because it is going to be balls boring and hard to play on my own. But if I have it on in the background and there's an engaging chat going on with people, then it's kind of worth it, because like they are archaic, but they are super interesting. So that's my experience. But like, I guess it's because I'm an old boomer now when it comes to this stuff. But like, we are not the people that watch streamers that just scream at the top of their lungs for no reason,
Yeah.
or do like stunts.
See,
We're 30
I like
and
to
40
watch
somethings.
like I
Yeah.
like to watch streamers that either A, have a really engaging chat. Like the thing that I love about watching Fuya when I do get a chance to drop in, I like it when it's just the casual streams or talking. I don't like watching people play Among Us. I don't like watching MOBAs. I just don't. Fighting games, I like watching those because it's high skill.
The only ones I can understand with like Among Us or other games like that could be worth it is when they have full Twitch like
Lobbies.
integration, where like sometimes you can have plugins and stuff that where your audience, not even necessarily with playing with bits, but like they can do like run like polls and votes and stuff, and it can alter what's going to happen in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you're watching is you're watching how the how the audience is interacting, and it becomes a fully immersive experience.
Yeah, I mean, like I watch a bunch. There's a dude I watch that does deception games mostly. Like he likes playing deception games, and he's actually really good at it, and it's really fun and enjoyable with his like cohort of friends. And it's always interesting because it's just like, it's like, God damn it, how did you trick me again?
Well,
kind of
see,
stuff.
like I can get that. What I hate, and it's like the most popular vein, I absolutely hate it. I think anybody involved should reevaluate their life choices. I cannot stand where a very, very large streamer, their entire career is just built on being mean and trolling people.
Yeah, that I don't like.
Yeah. Just
like,
no.
Especially when like you're ruining, the idea is I'm going to ruin other people's time in multiplayer games because not only does it make me money, but it makes me feel good to just bully people. And that seems to be a worrying trend with like a lot of really popular, and usually they're attracting like the youngest kids, which is even worse. But
oh yeah, the young people.
So I don't like. Anyway, rant over. That's why we don't really cover these awards.
Yeah.
So I'll just rapid fire through most of these. But best ongoing game was Helldivers 2. I think that's a good choice.
That's a great choice.
Out of all of them, best choice in terms of an actual game.
Yeah, like honestly, I did not think it would make that. Like people like it. I've got friends in my friend group that still ask me to play. Like my friend Paul that I play D&D with is like, "Hey, Mike, do you want to play some Helldivers?" I just have never found the time. Alex showed me the game earlier this year, and I'm like, "All right, cool, it's fucking Starship Troopers." Cool.
Yeah, when I come over, like it's like Starship Troopers. You're like, is it going to be weird? I said, dude, look, and I went through basically the tutorial intro, and you're like, it was not what you were expecting. Like you were like you thought it was going to be just another MMO style clone sort of thing, like like the arena, and it's like no, like you have it's the entire game, even like what you have to do with like entering the commands and all that sort of stuff for the extractions. It's almost the whole game is tongue in cheek. Right, so it's very
the game is built on stupid mistakes.
It's like Paul Verhoeven made Starship Troopers a game and didn't take it overly serious. Well, and that's kind of what I dig about it.
And they will purposely do things like you might get like your extraction code where you have to enter the commands. It might be the same one 4 times in a row. And then when you go to the 5th one, they'll change the direction of one of the keys, and if you fuck up, then you're screwed. So like they do stuff like that. Like it's you'll be like, oh, it's supposed to be randomized, and sometimes it's not as random as you'd think. So they've got some cool stuff there.
Or the fact that when the third faction was being slowly introduced, they were like, they don't exist.
Yeah, like they'll mess with, like they try to gaslight you in the game too.
Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, and plus having the guy come out in the Helldiver armor, I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Oh, and do the whole spiel. That was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Whenever I see them coming out, all I can think of is I'm doing my part too. That's all. Like that's exactly the tone.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So good.
Moving on, best art direction was Metaphor. This could have gone anywhere.
I figured this was going to go here.
Metaphor deserves it.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
It can be a little like, it's great. It's not what you would normally you'd think. Oh, it's got to be like amazing AAA, graphics. It's not. It's a little bit lower budget. It's higher budget for Atlas, but it's not at the same
Yeah.
budget that a Persona 5 was. But it was quite good. And the toss up here was Elden Ring gonna win again? Because you know what I mean? Because it has good art style, but like every game in here had good art style. But yes, it made sense because it was the most unique, I think.
Yes.
Narrative was Metaphor. That surprises me because I love that game. It does not have a very good narrative. The only reason I think it won is it was unique.
Here's
it
the
was
thing,
it was a
Alex.
unique story.
There are so many people that would disagree with you on that.
What other games were in this category?
Final Fantasy.
That should have got it.
It should have won. It had the best narrative with the most emotional twists and turns and characters and deep lore. It should have won. Metaphor.
Yes.
Metaphor won because it's not based on previous work. That's why.
Also recency bias.
Yeah, because in playing it, went through it, I could predict everything that was going to happen because I've played so many RPGs that I'm like, this was a paint by numbers RPG story. It had unique characters, and the scenario was unique.
Yeah, here's the thing. People misconstrue what narrative is, and probably voted for it because of the characters.
It had fantastic characters and
some of the greatest characters Atlas has ever made,
and a fantastic like framework. Like the world, the lore of the world was good. The actual dialogue and narrative was very predictable. And what's crazy is you'd think that Final Fantasy would be predictable because we know how that gameplay. No, Final Fantasy is not predictable. So I do think Final Fantasy should have won, but I feel like the people voting for this on the like committee or whatever, I feel like they purposely didn't vote for Final Fantasy because it's based on previous work. And if
that the recency bias, and also it came out in fucking February.
Yeah. So I mean I get
it.
And
also it's the second of a 3-part game.
Yeah, the third game will probably be what wins if it holds up. Looking at this though, what makes me happy is that Metaphor winning all these is going to show Sega and Atlas like, hey, maybe we need to pump up our teams a little bit and start pumping out some more stuff. Like, we need to see Persona 6 soon. Like, if we don't see a title reveal with a song, like an intro song or something for Summer Games Fest, I'm surprised that we didn't see it here.
I genuinely think Persona 6 will be revealed next year. It's not coming out for another couple years. I'm thinking maybe 2027, 2028.
Well, they're 4 years in. They were the team that was working on it was the team.
Also remember how long Persona 5 took.
Persona
5 took a fucking decade.
They already had a team working on it apparently in like 2019, and then once Royal came out, the full team moved over to it. And people were thinking
some of the team moved over, some of the team moved to Metaphor. Yeah,
to finish Metaphor, and because it's the P0 team I think that was doing Metaphor. So, but basically it's all hands on deck now, and it's been that way for.
It's all hands on deck for Persona 6 this year.
So we should be seeing something. I would say you should see something by Summer Game Fest. With
Summer Game Fest
title reveal
at the latest Game Awards.
I think if we get a game from these teams or from the Atlas side next year, it'll be the PS2 remasters or remakes of the what's his name?
The SMT spin-off game.
Was it the Devil Summoner games?
The Devil Summoner games that got leaked.
Because they use the same game engine as Nocturne.
Can I give you guys a little bit of breaking news as of this broadcast? Sure. So do you guys remember a couple years ago when Transformers Reactivate was announced here?
And then we kept asking, where is it?
Yep. Hasbro, or at least someone, has deactivated the official Transformers Reactivate Instagram page. That doesn't bode well. And literally there was a post saying we're going to have information about this game in 2024. So unless that shows up in the next 13 or so days or whatever, it's dead. I would pretty much confirm the game is dead. Which
I
is
mean,
interesting considering
Hasbro's readjusting their entire structure right now. So
it was supposed to be a
not
AAA
shocking.
game, and right now the only AAA game they're working on is Exodus with
Yeah.
any of their studios, and that was surprising that wasn't here. Because,
Yeah, that's another shocker.
Because leading up into this, I kept talking about how they're showing so much more on their YouTube channel every couple days. They've been showing stuff, which they were basically dormant until the end of the summer. And then they're like, oh, and there's going to be a secret level episode based on it, or I guess probably to reveal things. And I'm like, okay, so is that going to be part of the first batch? And it turns out it's not. It's in the batch that's coming next week. So I was like, well, isn't that basically almost a guarantee that they're going to show a tease at the Game Awards and have like Matthew McConaughey come out again? And it's like, no, nothing. Silence. I'm like, what? Why are you hyping all, like, why would you not have planned something, Hasbro, to put something at the Game Awards a week before the episode of your TV show airs?
Yeah. Hasbro is in complete flux right now in terms of their entire company.
So we'll have to keep an eye out for the Transformers one, but best performance was the Senua Saga.
This award, Alex, is when I tuned in to the Game Awards and I pointed at the screen how you would do and I screamed bullshit.
Yeah,
I said bullshit as well. I'm like, no. Just
I was like,
lies. It should have been Aerith.
Yeah,
it's
100%.
Aerith. I said Aerith or the dude for Silent Hill 2.
Yeah, that's what everybody was saying. She won because the whole game is just her anyway.
I mean, that's cool that she carried
and
it.
Also, I don't think she's part of the union.
No, was
That's
she also
on strike currently?
I guess is the argument too that she did all the mocap for it too.
Yes.
Okay,
Because
then maybe
it's not just a facial capture. She did full mocap. She did all the actions in the game. Like whenever they're doing the rolling or attacking, she did everything.
Okay,
So-
then maybe I'll backtrack that a little bit.
And actually looking at it, it's not best voice, it's best performance.
Yes.
Okay, you know what? Then I will let that sit. I will let that stay.
Yeah,
then.
Fair,
yeah.
but I still think that's a iffy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because they're getting another game out of this franchise. I don't think,
And no one else was probably going to accept the award because of the strike.
Yeah. Ben Starr was there, and there was Matt Mercer and a few other people that were there in the audience.
I swear, there was one of the game reveals. I was just like, "Is that Ben as the voice?"
Because Ben's
And
the
I was
voice
like-
in that Claire Obscure game coming out.
That was the game. I was just like, "Is that Ben's voice?"
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
that's Ben.
confirmed But he did it was a tweet, and it was after people were like, is that Ben Starr? Like when that was revealed was it the summertime or was that revealed last Game Awards? I think it was last Game Awards.
Yeah.
And when they showed it off, and it was like, that looks so cool. Like, what if there was like a FromSoft game that was a turn-based RPG, right? And they showed it off, and we heard his voice, and it's like, and they're like, is that Ben Starr? Is that blah blah? And then all he tweeted was the GIF of Rainn Wilson from The Office going, "It's true."
I love Ben. He's a great guy.
So best score music was Final Fantasy, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no.
I had initially thought, hey, maybe it could be Metaphor, but then I remembered
That's what I thought.
I only recognize, like, a couple months out, I can only remember the main music for the battle theme, which is the awesome one that everybody knows. But like Final Fantasy VII, even though it's based on the original score, there's like 200 songs.
Yeah, like honestly, Final Fantasy was my pick from the second I saw it nominated. And yeah, Alex, when you mentioned ReFantasio, you were right, because like I remember you and I had a very interesting conversation about this about a month ago, saying, can you remember any other song? But you told me like there's so much involved that goes into the music for that game. But you're like, think about how Final Fantasy changes whenever you do something.
Yeah, and like if you ask anybody who played ReFantasio when it came out, and it was popular, like it sold a lot, right? If you ask them, they're all like the chanting from the battle theme. Okay.
Yep.
Can you remember the tonality or the melody of any other song in the game?
Or the Velvet Room. Their version of the Velvet Room.
Yeah, their version. Okay, but 90% of people will only remember the battle theme. This isn't a case of like Xenoblade. Like it's not a Matsuda.
Yeah, no.
Like it's not where like you can go talk to anybody that played a Xenoblade game and they'll all have 5 or 6 different distinct songs that they like that are one of like 100 in there, right? Like
or in the case of X, it's Sawano.
Yeah. So like there was not more than one major memorable song. So I get why it didn't, and obviously Final Fantasy makes sense. Astro could have won, but it's not.
Yeah.
There. Okay. It's one thing to have some pretty
Astro's
awesome
a vibe.
Yeah, pretty awesome like electronic EDM music, basically, and dance music. There's that, and then you realize Final Fantasy VII has like 10 or 12 tracks that are that on its own, and then the rest of it is all orchestra stuff, right? So
the fact that I forget how many
raps game of the year.
Yes.
Yeah, but like Final Fantasy's Rebirth soundtrack is like what, 7 or 8 discs?
Yeah. So I mean, everything that was nominated was worth nominating. Best audio design and Senua Saga, that makes perfect sense because the whole game is based around.
Just like, yeah, that's the whole point of their studio.
Yeah, the whole point of the game is to have binaural audio where it feels like it's burrowing into your skull. So it's like, okay.
Yeah. And if you play that game with like really good 3D headphones, you're in for a good time.
Oh God, yeah.
Exactly.
So that best adaptation was Fallout. There's no way it was going to be anything else, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, no. Okay.
Arcane,
so
maybe.
Arcane. That was the thing. There's a lot of discourse that happened in season 2, and I think the discourse is what caused it to fall out of contention for this award. Fallout, great adaptation.
Fallout was unexpected because we all thought it was going to fail.
Yes.
And it blew everybody away. Like,
also,
I remember.
Just as a side note, I forgot how short Todd Howard is.
Oh yeah, he's a little guy.
We were sitting there watching, and then the conversation we kept having was, is Todd 4 feet tall, or is like Jonathan Nolan like 7 feet tall? And then Ella Purnell walks out, and they're like, is she like 6'8"? And then we looked her up, and she's like 5. She's like 5'5". We're like, so Todd's like 5 foot nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because she was in heels, and she was like with her heels on. She's like 5'7", and he was wearing lifts.
Yeah.
I'm actually just gonna look this up real quick. He's
got to be like 5'1".
Yeah.
And also, if you watch, did you notice that Jeff Keighley is wearing lifts?
Oh, of course he is.
Yeah, but like, because I was watching, and we're like, when Todd walks out with her, we're like, wait, he's like a whole head shorter than her.
Yeah. No. When he walked out with Troy. Troy is a tall dude.
Yeah, Troy's like 6'4" or 6'5". Yeah, like he's
Troy's
actually
a tall
like legit
dude.
Tall.
But
there actually are a lot of people on Twitter talking about this right now. It says Todd Howard ain't that short. I'm 6 feet tall. So
wait, there was a really good meme that my brother sent me. I should resend it to you guys. And it was a picture that somebody put of where the camera was panning towards. It was like, I think it was Jonathan Nolan that was next to him, or it could have been when Troy was with him. And it just says, it was brah. Todd Howard clipping through the floor like in his games. Because he was halfway out of frame because he's so short. And I was like, oh man, this is going to pass around real quick. Bra's clipping through the floor just like it's a regular Bethesda game.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
But yeah, like, well, also, like, does it maybe also explain how he's kind of like got the Napoleon complex, how everything has to go through him always? You don't get like, and why he refuses to update the tech because he has to be in control of everything.
Well, actually, no. Here's the thing. The reason why they didn't update the tech was because there was one board member who is dead, by the way, that was forcibly stopping them from upgrading the tech to the point where once he passed away, they immediately announced we're upgrading the tech.
Now, if Todd Howard and Bethesda wanted to win the night, because there weren't any big shadow drops tonight, let's be real about that. But if Bethesda wanted to explode the internet for a night, two things could have happened here. They weren't likely to happen, but they could have. We could have seen a teaser for Fallout Season 2, or Macaulay Culkin could have come out because he's been cast. That would have been great. Or Todd Howard could say, hey, you know how you guys have wanted, Fallout 3 remastered? It's available tomorrow. And you can preload now.
Or New Vegas.
Or New Vegas.
New Vegas.
They would have did Fallout 3 if they were going to do something. But
yeah,
the internet would have exploded.
Because there's no bad blood anymore because Obsidian and Bethesda are just part of Microsoft, right? So there's no longer, there can't be any bad blood anymore.
I guess they could have done New Vegas if they wanted to tie it into Season 2 of Fallout. You're right.
I think they're going to do a new... I will not be surprised if before Fallout Season 2, we will have Fallout 3 on modern hardware as well as New Vegas, because they're the same engine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think maybe they didn't do much because one of the things we'll get into later was they showed off actual gameplay of The Outer Worlds 2 from Obsidian, aka the good Fallout games.
Aka the good of literally the trailer jokes about how they make the sequels to the games that everyone adores.
Well, and just the idea that it's what if Fallout didn't have bugs and also had a solid, clear narrative.
Yep.
But anyway, and also had color. So we'll sort of skim through. Best multiplayer was Helldivers 2. That's a good win. Understandable why. Best independent game, best debut indie game, best mobile game were all Balatro.
Well deserved. You have.
He didn't show up.
If you count all my, again, he is a very private person, but if you count all of the playtime across all the different consoles and all the different, like, mobile, Steam, Switch, all the different consoles that I've played Balatro on, I've probably sunk the most time in Balatro.
Yeah, so like it makes sense. I did. So he's apparently
an unhealthy amount.
We got to hunt him down. He is apparently Ontario based. The developer of Balatro.
Cool. I didn't know that.
So we can maybe find him. He's really, unless he's like really truly obscure from a small town, he's got to be from like either London, KW, Ottawa, or Toronto. That's it, right? Like when it comes to where there's a lot of dev support. He's got to be from either the GTA, Ottawa here. Like, there's only 4 areas he could be from. We'll find him. We're going to find you. But anyway, most anticipated game. Did anybody have to guess this year?
Yeah. I mean, I was hoping for Ghosts of Yotai. That would have been cool.
It was either going to be Monster Hunter or GTA.
Yeah, I mean, we know it's GTA. So obviously they basically skimmed over it. Games for Impact was Neva. That's the deer one, right?
And the follow-up to Gris.
Yeah, so that's cool.
Best action adventure, Astro.
Solid pick.
They were. I love how the devs at Astrobot were so surprised they won as many awards as they did.
Yeah. Best action, Black Myth Wukong.
I'm not surprised.
I thought Stellar Blade would win that.
Honestly, Black Myth Wukong is not surprising because I saw so many people that don't play those kinds of games play Black Myth Wukong.
And I did like how in their speech, like when they did speak English, they're like, "Our game is not hard." Like, it
isn't.
Was that a dig at Souls?
FromSoft? Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
So because it just came across as odd, like it came across like that was a shot across the bow at some of the.
Oh yeah.
Somebody.
It was.
Yeah, and also I guess because they technically sold more games than Elden, so
they sold more because China.
Yeah, that's true. Best fighting game, that was the first award given away during the pre-show, Mike.
I saw that. I believe me. I was like, what the fuck? Sorry. Here's where Mike gets on his soapbox for 30 seconds.
But you know why it went to them? I can say this.
Because the guy was there.
It was because Hirata was there, and also because it's the only game that was nominated that is a true traditional arcade fighter.
I would argue
an
the
arcade
Marvel
fighter that isn't a re-release.
Yeah, but I would argue, and this is my point in all this, is Marvel versus Capcom is something the community's wanted for literally ever.
Yes.
And the fact that it got people back in, there was competitions at Evo, it's gonna do so much. It's cross-compatible with multiple platforms, no cross-play.
When they make a new Marvel vs. Capcom game, which they will eventually,
I fucking hope so.
It will be bonkers.
Well, like, I'm so surprised how much they botched Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. And if you want some really good insight on that, there's a Matt McMuscles episode on it. And I think Maximilian Dude is also in that one as well. But
also,
Dragon Ball
Max is doing a PC mod for it.
Like, and Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Yes, it's an arena fighter. It does have some balance issues. I will openly say that, but it sold stupid amounts. And
it's sold because you want to play the Goku simulator.
But it's also not supposed to be what sells most wins award. It's quality too.
I would argue it's really good, but Tekken does have a very technical side for it.
Yeah.
And as kind of a sidebar to this, having a new Final Fantasy character in Tekken.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I guess
that was the sort of shadow drop because it's out in 2 days.
Yeah. Now, the only thing that would make Tekken okay to me in this category, because we did get Tekken 8 for consideration in our holiday gift guide. I just didn't pick it. I picked Dragon Ball as my pick. They were talking with the guy Harada, and they're like, you know what? We did try to get the Waffle House as a stage. If you got Waffle House, then I would have said, yeah, all right, sure.
And hasn't he tried for years to get Colonel Sanders in?
Yeah, like
he's tried to get a lot of Mimi stuff. Harada is the kind of boss that you would love to work with, even if he's kind of a hard ass.
Well, didn't he wear to like the award show the one year or something, a shirt that just said "Don't ask me for shit"?
Yes, yes.
Like he also pretends that he doesn't understand English when he 100% does, because it's easy.
Oh yeah,
he is like completely fluent in understanding English. And when he does speak a little bit of English, he actually hams it up, the accent, because apparently if you work with him, his English is like not nearly as broken as that. He does it to troll people, so he can like make fun of them.
He's a fun troll, while Hideki Kamiya is the asshole.
Yeah.
Troll.
But yeah, I mean, overall, I'm just glad there was a lot of really good fighting games this year. This is the year that got me back in the fighting game. Like,
it's a very good year for fighting games.
I mean, like, in terms of my game of the year, not gonna lie, Marvel is in my top 3 because it got me back in the fighting game so much that our friend of the show, Jen, I don't know if I've showed you guys this, but Jen is designing artwork for my fight stick that has all the cats, and that's including
I think you put that out on socials.
Yeah, I think you showed like the original draft. I don't know if I've seen it in a bit, but yeah, it looks awesome.
Yeah, so I'm just glad we're eating good as the fighting game community, and that's pretty awesome. So
and next year's going to be just as good.
Yeah, without jumping forward too much, you've got another it's the Capcom SNK collection, right?
Yep, already pre-ordered.
So you've got that and more we'll talk about after, but like there's at least 3 or 4 ones coming. And it's not part of the show, but they had a bunch of showcases in the last couple of days that just crammed out before the Game Awards. Like there was the Latin game showcase,
and as we're recording this, there's the can't afford to show at the Video Game Awards. It can't show at the TGAs. Yeah.
But like the Latin one, there was that. I think I sent it in the group chat. There is that fighting game that looks like He-Man character, and like where it all looks like claymation / action figures.
The problem is that game. I don't think its Kickstarter succeeded.
Well, the fact that they keep showing it off, it means they probably have outside funding.
They do have outside funding, but the Kickstarter was supposed to kind of
put them over the edge.
Put them over the edge, and I don't think it succeeded.
Well, we'll have to see, but there's a bunch of stuff on the horizon. Innovation and accessibility was Prince of Persia. It was either going to go to something from Ubisoft, or it could have gone. It could have weirdly gone to EA's stuff because of Dragon Age, because all of the accessibility stuff that they built, they created essentially for the Frostbite engine because they had never had it before. That they put into Dragon Age. It's a lot of cool tech under the hood. They open sourced it last week.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they made actually a big press announcement about that, where it's not just that it's open sourced tools that are specifically for Frostbite. They open sourced it, released it so that those tools can be migrated and implemented into any game engine.
That's amazing.
So
I think
there's some goodwill there.
I think one of the main features of Prince of Persia: Lost Crown that probably cinched this award for them was the screenshot pin tool that they have, where you can pin a location and it will take a screenshot of the location.
Oh yeah,
to remind you what you need to do there.
Yeah, and also they've been, outside of like Sony themselves, they've been the number one third-party studio when it comes to accessibility for 10 years.
Easy. And also good for that team, even though they got disbanded.
Yeah. Here's something for you. Best community support, Baldur's Gate 3. Probably
no
because
shit.
Wasn't it like 2 weeks ago?
The mod support has been,
and then they had that big
outrageous.
They had that big free update where they gave
surprise.
Everybody got an extra 1 or 2 subclasses or something.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone got new subclasses.
Yeah,
everyone.
Like Baldur's Gate is a game I'm replaying again, and I'm so
you and many other people.
Yeah, like honestly, the amount of support that comes out for this is amazing. And there's a YouTube channel that I watch. I think his name's Jay Dunva or something like that, and he covers specifically console mods. And just the amount that Larian is allowing people to do, and the amount that they're still doing back-end support, even though they're like, yeah, there might be 1 or 2 more patches, but then we're pretty much done with it. There's going to be custom campaigns coming soon. I know people are starting to recruit for voice actors on like Reddit and places like that. Maybe if someone ever does like a Ravenloft campaign, I'll throw my kind of name in for something. But nah, seriously, Baldur's Gate 3 absolutely deserve to win this category. I'm so surprised, and I'm super happy for that.
So that Fest Family Game was Astro. That was
no surprise.
Nobody like this is usually the Nintendo category to lose.
Maybe Mario stood a chance here, but Astro was just phenomenal.
Mario Party could have stood a chance. Princess Peach itself is a pretty good game.
If it ran well.
It was that's the issue. It was the performance. Even Echoes
Nintendo. Of Wisdom doesn't run the greatest.
Yeah, but we're talking like it would dip into like 15 frames per second.
Yeah, no, Princess Peach was horrible. I have never ever played a Nintendo game that's that bad performance-wise.
So it hurt itself, and then you got Astro working like Astro played like a Nintendo first party title on GameCube. Like that's how smooth that shit was.
Yeah.
Smooth as butter. Best sim strategy game, Frostpunk. My argument is it's not available on all platforms yet. It's also been in early access. I think Unicorn Overlord should have won, but this is the one. You know why this won? I think it was all the European people that voted for it, and all the outlets over there.
All the European people, and because it was so readily accessible because it's on Game Pass.
Best sports / racing, EA Sports FC 25. No, I still think Top Spin should have gone. It's actually a lot better than I was expecting.
Well, here's the thing with FC 25.
WWE
they bought the goddamn studio that makes the best FC games, so of course it's going to be there.
I'd say, I mean, honestly, in this category, I think WWE could have done something here because those games have been getting progressively better.
But they always launch in a poor condition.
The launch this year terrible. Was better than most.
Better than most.
Better than last year.
Yeah. I mean, that studio has been in like a rebuild for a couple of years. I mean, it's not
sure.
it's not AEW Fight Forever, which,
Which is
but
funny because the team that made that is the team that made all the good games on the PS2.
yeah, it's so strange. And again, I know there's a YouTuber who did a really good deep dive onto why that game fell completely to shit. But
It's because it cost $50 million and that wasn't enough money.
There's a very interesting story behind it. So type in AEW Fight Forever and you're gonna see, I think the YouTube documentary is something like an hour and a half, and there's a lot of interesting stuff in there. But anyway, go on.
Best AR VR game, Batman. That's a no-brainer. Warner Brothers.
That's a no-brainer because it's an actual game.
Well, it's an actual Batman Arkham game that's better than the last games that were supposed to be Arkham games.
Yeah.
Best role-playing game. I thought from the very beginning that this was going to be Metaphor was going to win this because it was the most traditional, not just JRPG. It out of everything on the list here, outside of like a Dragon, this is the most RPG of RPGs. It is RPG the RPG.
Yeah.
There was no problem with that. Player's voice. That's the one that's like purely voted by people. That's Black Myth because there's like
because 12,
China. There's 12
Chinese. China.
There's 12 Chinese voters for every other person in the world. So
yeah, you can stuff the ballot box pretty easy here. Though I'm not surprised. Although I'm surprised Elden Ring didn't get this, to be honest with you, because that community is stupid huge. And if anybody was going to bought it, it would have been them.
Mike, China.
Just true.
China. Never underestimate China.
True.
And then best game direction and game of the year were both Astro.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And like as much as I would have wanted Final Fantasy to win game of the year, I completely understand.
Oh yeah.
Astrobot came out of goddamn nowhere and blew people away.
Astrobot. Sorry.
Game direction to me was neck and neck between Astro and Final Fantasy because it takes very different directorial styles to get these games made, and they both found their perfect pocket and did it. It's apples to oranges if you're trying to compare game to game with it, but if you're trying to compare like who had the best project management, who had the best vision, who put together the most cohesive game, these are the two games that came out this year that when you played them, not once would you get a crash, not once would it glitch out, or you clip through things. Like this is not like we're playing an Ubisoft title where somebody starts spinning around in circles,
Oh my god.
or goes or flies into the air.
Yep.
Yeah, like none of that stuff happened here. This isn't a cyberpunk, beat motherfucker, and then it crashes the game when it explodes because the smoke crashed the system. Like it's none of that stuff. So like it made perfect sense that it could have gone either way. Game of the year is more subjective. I personally would say that Final Fantasy should have won, even though I love Astro, because I think of the scale, like the accomplishment of the scale of the game, and not scale like it's like a Bethesda game where it's large for the sake of being large. It's large and diverse. But Astro won, I think, because of the press. I feel like this won because it won to send a message to Sony specifically that, look, these are the games that your audience wants and buys, not the live service stuff that is failing left and right on you. And then two, sends a message to the industry that you can make a smaller game that is concise and fun and still charge $80 and get your money's worth out of it. That, and then the guy that came out, producer or director that did the speech, and then at the end broke from the script and I couldn't necessarily say the name, but basically thanked Nintendo and Miyamoto for making Mario. So
I will say the fact that Astrobot won, fantastic, definitely sends a message. And I think Sony, in a lot of ways, needs that family-friendly mascot. Like, yeah, there's Sly Cooper, yeah, there's Crash Bandicoot, but no one has been as... Sackboy was PS3. And PS4, I guess, I don't know. But
And
PS5, like Astrobot has the potential to be a huge franchise. And I really
Yes.
hope they do it because
Well,
Sony needs something as ubiquitous as Sackboy. I mean, you can put Kratos and Ellie on marketing, which is great. I love Kratos. I love Ellie. But Astrobot is something that everybody can enjoy, and it doesn't have to be super heavy stories.
By the way, By the way, just as I saw this on socials, Fangamer's making plushies.
Yeah.
Of Kratos Astrobot and regular Astrobot.
I saw someone put the Klonoa clothes on Astrobot. That's pretty freaking cool.
Breaking news. Beep, 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 beep. Federal government is stepping in to squash the postal strike.
Good. It means we can get our shit for Holiday Gift Guide Part 2.
Yes, pretty much. They expect the mail service to return next week as the union blasts the move. You were on strike for a month and then only got farther and farther apart. You can't stop that kind of a service that long. Anyway, sorry, I feel bad, but also apparently here the reason that the federal government said they weren't going to step in, but they are now stepping in, is because Purelator and UPS paused all extra shipments now. They paused for 2 days from last week from small businesses to try to catch up on their backlog, and it says Purelator and UPS are now pausing all shipments that are over and above a certain threshold because they don't think they can meet the order. So that was the final straw, and the government's like, we can't even get people to pick up the slack. So you're going back to work. I feel bad, but they also get paid really good because they're government jobs. But anyway, yes. So it was breaking news only there's probably some packages of movies and games that we don't know about that are just stuck in the mail.
Yeah.
But anyway, because otherwise there's not going to be any mail before Christmas, really, right? So that's that. Sorry, that Game of the Year makes sense. They swept pretty well. I don't really have major complaints, I think, with this year. Other years we've had major complaints. So I guess we can move into the
Good
trailers.
wins, boring show for me.
Yeah, and a lot of that was the fact that there were so many of those mobile.
So much Chinese money in this.
Yeah.
Also, when it comes to live people, they had Snoop Dogg come out sing a song that the new song that sounded terrible, and then he sang Gin and Juice.
It's all right.
And then it's kind of boring, and then he had Gin and Juice, which sounded fun because it's Gin and Juice.
Yeah. Old people dancing is what I put in our chat.
Yeah. And his son.
I mean, look. Don't get me wrong. I was like, oh wait. When Snoop came out, I was like, oh, he's doing an award. Oh, he's opening a studio with his son. Okay, that's cool. Oh, wait. Right, he's performing. Does he have a new album out or something? Oh yeah, his new album drops literally today.
Yeah, this was the first major performance. That, and when his son came out to present the award with him, all I kept saying was, look at his hands. His son and him have the same hands. They're the same shape, exact same size. I was like, that's the weirdest thing. I've never you could have similar faces, but you could chop off their hands and swap them, and they would have been the same person. I was like, that's the weirdest thing that I was obsessing over. I'm like, look at his hands. What the fuck? Anyway, beyond that, there was performance with somebody that I thought was called Miss Serpent, but it's something else. It was the lady with no eyebrows, and then 21 Pilots and some other dude, and that.
The Arcane Melody,
which was fine.
Okay, I love season 2's soundtrack. It's full of some great bangers. And while the 21 Pilots song isn't my personal favorite of season 2, it is the most emotionally relevant song in that season.
I feel like 21 Pilots was cool 3 years ago.
Oh, for sure.
I confused them with the other group that I think is the same people.
It's the same. It's the same situation when Sting did his performance for Arcane. A couple of years ago. I mean, which was the emotional climax song of Arcane season 1. This is the emotional climax of Arcane season 2.
I mean, I just feel like you're in Los Angeles. There's a lot of people who have connections. You got Snoop Dogg. You're telling me you couldn't get someone I don't know. I'm probably gonna sound like an idiot when I say this. I'm just gonna say fuck it anyway. Like Kendrick Lamar did a huge thing this year, but I could see him doing like a diss
Kendrick's
track.
got the Super. Kendrick's got the Super Bowl, man.
Yeah, but yeah, like I'm just saying, like it feels like 21 Pilots. I get it. I guess I don't know. Honestly,
Pilots and Imagine Dragons, I always thought were the same people.
Yeah, same here. I'm looking, all right, but again, I don't listen to modern music.
I can tell the difference because I'm in that sphere.
Yeah, like
music,
it's not me being I'm not trying to be crude. It's like I genuinely didn't know that they were different groups.
Yeah,
and like the singing, like the performances were fine. I found the Game Awards like best of the year mashup. I found it to be the weakest that they've ever done. Last year I thought was the weakest. Well, it's even weaker this year. There was nothing.
Because there's
unique
just no
sounding.
through line. There's no real through line that they could blend together.
Yeah, so I mean that's it. That's why we sort of skimmed over it. And Harrison Ford was drunk.
For
yeah, that was like I don't want to do this.
There's
like, what? I was like,
well, he's notorious for like not liking public speaking. So
also Harrison Ford's too old to give a shit anymore.
Well, like I thought, like people were like, oh, is it going to be like a really bad, is it going to be like super old sounding?
Is it going to be Grandpa?
And no, the way like he was slurring, he was clearly like he had hit the sauce before he got out on stage.
Oh, for sure.
Give me my money. I'm Harrison Ford.
So I was like, okay,
we're doing.
I'm Red Hulk.
I'm here. I'm here for a promotion for the Indiana Jones game. That's it. They paid me a shit ton of money. I'm done.
And he's local, so like it wasn't like he had to go far.
Local,
so for some of the people like the younger people like that were with him or like Troy and that some of the other actors that are there that are not just voice actors, he'll know some of them and there's probably going to be some celebrities there and he'll go for the after party and then hang out for a bit and then go home and go to bed because he's ancient. But like. It's not like Al Pacino.
Tomb, like fucking Mumra.
It's at least it wasn't like Al Pacino where it was like revealing cognitive issues. Like this was Al Pacino drunky.
Yeah, Al Pacino was scary. Harrison was just being Harrison Ford, only
give me my money,
not giving a shit.
Do you remember when he was on Conan O'Brien years ago and he got super high?
Yes.
He got super high before going on. Yeah,
you didn't show me this.
Oh, he got so high on, and I think he was doing mushrooms or something too. And he was sitting there and he was just rubbing his hands on the seat and on the textures of all of the couches, like over and over slowly, like it was erotic to him, and it was like very awkward. And then it comes out years later. Yeah, he always gets high or drunk before he does interviews because he's very nervous when he's on
anxiety, right?
He gets he's fine on camera on a closed set, but he's very nervous on live television or live performances.
Also, he's someone that doesn't when he's on press junkets, he prefers not to hear the same fucking question over and over and over again.
Oh, he likes it when they go like off script completely.
Yes, 100%, and that's like and that's why I love watching interviews with certain people because. If he's interviewing with someone like a guy I follow, Koi Jandro, Koi is always good at asking different questions. So,
well, I've seen him like where he does junkets and like where he'll open up is when somebody asks a question like, "Hey, I'm building a cabinet," and I was wondering if kind of like the kind of questions you'd ask like Ron Swanson.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he was a carpenter. Because he was a master carpenter by trade, right? Before he got into the movie.
Yes.
So if people ask him like carpentry stuff or woodworking stuff, then Harrison Ford will actually open up and talk, and like he'll have more fun. Or if it'll be like instead of talking about the same movie, they'll be like so have you gone to any concerts lately? Or what music are you listening to? And it'll be like you think it sounds like mundane, but it's like, oh God, thank God it's a different question than just like, hey, what's it like to be Indiana Jones again?
Yeah, the same stupid questions over and over again.
So yes, in the main thing, I skipped over, like I said, trailers that we were going to be interested in. There were new trailers for games that were previously announced. So I just mentioned that there was a Borderlands 4 one. Who cares at this point?
Hey, Randy, how'd that fucking movie do, buddy? Fuck
Uncle Randy is trying to make people forget so hard.
Yeah. Did you even see the movie? What could we have done better? What do you mean? I
Fucking
thought it was
Trump
amazing.
for one. Fucking anyway.
Yeah, the Game of Thrones.
Or maybe,
I'm
or
excited
maybe
for that
actually
one.
make it, or actually maybe make it R-rated. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe make sure Eli Roth isn't hiring people he wants to fuck. Just an idea.
Yeah, with his GILF complex.
No, okay, here's the thing with Eli Roth has some dirt on someone in that production because he's talked some shit in interviews, and like you can tell there was something that went wrong. Maybe a producer of
You think it was Randy insisting that he's on set behind the director at all times?
Yeah, like
It was probably a combination of Randy and Avi.
Yeah,
I
there was
guarantee you.
Again, I think it was Matt McMuscles did a really good episode on it, and yeah, not a good time. I will say this though, when
I've
it comes
seen
to
that movie. It's insufferable.
Oh yeah, I sat through it. I went through to it, and I think I called Alex after I left that one. Actually,
I saw it with my brother on the opening night or the day after because we had free tickets and we had nothing better to do, and we watched it. It was 90% me with my hands up going, the fuck is this? And we were talking through the whole movie. There's like 7 people there. People left midway through to get refunds. You know how long it's been since I saw people get refunds for a movie halfway through?
It's been a while for me too.
And we were watching it. My brother's like, what the fuck? What is this? What's going? It's like 3 or 4 different movies stitched together that had tonality like all over the place, and just the horribleness of all the acting.
There's so much of that movie that's on the cutting room floor.
When Bobby Lee is the best actor in your movie and it gives the best performance, there's something wrong.
Yeah, and he's there for like 30 seconds. Yeah,
I was like, Bobby Lee doing his best his best Borderlands on MTV skit character is the best performance in the fucking movie. Ew. Anyway, Game of Thrones has a game coming out. Who cares?
I think that honestly, that one I actually gave a shit about.
Hey, look,
that one I'm like, all right,
it
cool.
It looks like a cool RPG.
Cool side story.
Yeah.
Is it? I thought it might have been, but it's from the mobile company making it. But I thought for a second, I thought that's why it was Warner Brothers, right? I thought, well, is this going to be like a Monolith game, like their Monolith? Is it going to be like using like the Shadow of Mordor engine or something?
I'd be okay with that.
But no, it's apparently not. But anyway, because they still own that Nemesis engine, right? So
they're working on Monolith is working on a Wonder Woman game that is still going to happen,
but it's like 3 or 4 years away or more.
Yeah, it's a while away because they had to rework things about.
Well, they had that reveal trailer, and it turns out they never even greenlit the game until after the trailer was made. So
exactly. So
it's not great. Mafia Old Country looks great. Big problem.
Yeah, cool.
It's coming out the same month or 2 as GTA.
Nope, it's done.
Unless GTA gets pushed until the fall, then
GTA is not coming out till the fall. Guaranteed.
Okay, then
there's no flipping way GTA is coming out in the spring.
Then Mafia coming out in the summer is smart. Better be like June.
Yeah.
It looks good
E3, though. Like in around E3 era game. You know what I mean.
It's good to see 2K having another good AAA game. It's been a long time since they had that. Tekken 8 has the FF16 guest character. We saw as Clive, which that's kind of a shadow surprise. Cool, I guess, if you're into that.
I want the girl from Waffle House. Sorry.
Outer Worlds 2 looks
that's cool.
Good. It looks fun. The first game is so good, dude. You know me. I really don't like Fallout. I really liked that game though. Yeah,
that's what I was saying. I figure if Alex is gonna like this, he'll dig this. So,
and then we get into the new premieres. World premiere. I actually kind of miss that he doesn't have it anymore, even though we used to complain about how it was like world premiere. But Elden Ring Night Rain, which is the is it co-op or is it just multiplayer?
It is a co-op. It's co-op / multiplayer. It is basically taking the bones of Elden Ring and giving it kind of a co-op-y multiplayer vibe to it. Sure. I'm excited simply because it's like more FromSoft is more FromSoft. You can't really complain too much.
Yeah. Like if you like, even though I don't like those games, I'm happy that they exist because they're a lane that is unique and different from other companies. So I'm happy with it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, that was the first thing shown at the pre-show, and it looks awesome.
Awesome.
It's Dotemu is doing a high quality sprite based.
They're
new
publishing.
Ooh.
It's a Dotemu publishing. It's
Yeah.
someone.
It's the guys that made.
else.
It's one of those other pixel. Regardless, I forget the name of it, but it's one of the ones that was really popular making it, and it is sort of like a modern Metroidvania take on the original like 8-bit versions.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I play that.
It looks dope.
We talked about the Okami sequel,
Cool.
which is cool. We should mention, I think we talked about it before we went on air, but how Kamiya left Platinum to form a new studio that he named Clovers, and he used to be part of Clover Studio at Capcom, so he made it to basically troll Capcom, and they're now contracted by Capcom to make Okami 2, something that nobody ever expected was going to happen ever in a million years.
Yeah.
Onimusha, was I not saying that this should be something that they make? Why haven't they done it? And it's because people didn't think they were going to make money, but it's using the RE engine. It's yet to be seen if it's fully like the original, where it was very much like RE, or is this going to be their take on a Souls game, or is this going to be more like Devil May Cry?
The Onimusha remasters that they put out sold really well, so it's not surprising that they greenlit.
It's also not been confirmed if this is a remake of the original, like a reboot, or a new game entirely.
It'll be like a requel. That's my guess.
Project Century.
Is that the one with the weird head?
No, that's the new RGG game.
That's the Like a Dragon or Yakuza game set in 1915.
Oh, this one looks cool, actually.
But
yeah,
what struck me was they've not really had blood in any of the games previously.
Yeah, I was like,
really,
and not that amount. It depends on the not that amount, but like it gave me like that Sleeping Dogs kind of vibe to it.
Well, I was also trying to figure out, is this their take on like a Souls game? Because it seemed to be the combat was more involved.
No, it's an evolution of the Judgment fighting system. Probably.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And that was announced right after they announced Virtua Fighter 6.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, Virtua Fighter, again, not my community. I hear people are very excited for it. I've always seen it as a third-tier franchise.
What's funny is the fact that there is a small group at RGG that is really passionate about Virtua Fighter because it's been in every single Yakuza game.
Well, it's because I forget which AM studio it was that made Virtua Fighter. When they shut down that AM, whatever that division, that studio was, they all
went to RGG.
Yes. So the battle system for Yakuza was based on Virtua Fighter. So there are some veteran, like a group of
that would explain why some of the earlier games play as janky as they do.
Yes, it was literally based on the arcade tech for the old games.
Okay.
And when they switched to the turn-based style and they decided they were going to be doing only with side stories and spin-offs using the original, people were like, oh man, I guess we're not going to see anything of the Virtua Fighter style. And I was like, what? And I looked it up and it was like, oh, a core group of the developers that make the battle system, that's literally from the old arcade stuff. So that makes sense as to why they're making it. That means that they're going to have probably the same feel, I guess, as the old stuff. Maybe.
Oh yeah, no. If they are that passionate about Virtua Fighter, they're gonna do right by the Virtua Fighter fans. So,
I was gonna say Sega had not a lot of stuff from Atlas, but Sega had a lot to show off here that was surprising. Sonic Racing is
Sega's got a lot. Yeah, awesome. New Sonic Racing.
I'm cool.
A+.
Yep, I'm in.
There was Split Fiction.
This looks cool. This one I'm actually really into.
I mean, again, it's Joseph Fares, it's Hazelight. You have my attention.
What was it? We fuck shit up without fucking shit up, or something. What did he say?
Yeah, we fuck shit up without fucking shit up.
And then he's like, "Look at my kids; they're so cute and they're beautiful."
And don't forget,
Oh,
my wife. She's
and
also
also
hot.
and also my wife.
And my team is
guy.
beautiful. And it's not. When you think about it, though, only 2 platformers have ever won the Game of the Year awards, even for here, and going even back when it was the Spike Game Awards, and it's his game and now Astro. So there could be a shift, in what is expected to be, Game of the Year from now on. Anyway, Thick as Thieves. That is the new game from what is his name? The guy that invented the immersive sim when he did like Deus Ex and Thief and all that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know the name, but I can't think of it. Warren Spector. No, was it? No.
It is Warren Spector. It's
Okay.
Warren Spector's new game.
Yeah, hey, cool, sure.
Yeah, it looks interesting. Turok. Okay.
Didn't expect this.
I was like, wait, Turok?
When they started showing it, and they're like, this, I was like, people, my brother and my friend here were like, oh, is it going to be another like Ark knockoff, or is it actually going to be the?
Yeah, my brain went to Ark, and then Turok showed up. I was like, what?
Did Diesel Ark game ever come out?
No.
Nope, not yet.
Nope. Vaporware right now. And he throws the tomahawk, and I was like, "Oh, it's Turok," and they're like, "No, it's not." I'm like, "No, it's Turok," because we didn't see that it said Universal at the beginning, and Universal owns the IP.
Yeah,
and I was like, "But so we didn't see that till after." But I was like, "It's Turok," and they're like, "Ah, you're joking." I'm like, "No, I think it's Turok," and I saw like the arrow fire too, and they're like, "No," and then it was the very Turok looking spaceship going, doing the eclipse in the moon. And my buddy Matt goes, "Oh shit, you're right. It is Turok." And then we saw that it was third person. We're like, wait a minute. It's Gears of War Turok.
I'm in for that shit.
That sounds cool. Dope.
Yeah. It actually looks really cool. I'm like, oh man, they've actually done something. And it's Saber Interactive doing it. Is this the first game they've announced since they split?
Yes. Officially, this is the first actual game that they've shipped games after the split,
and they're
but this is the first one that they are officially working on once the split happened.
Yeah, because like they had a few that they're still finishing, right?
Yeah,
because I believe, they've got a few projects.
They bought themselves out.
But this is the first like brand new project that's
yes, this is the first.
Them.
Yeah, this is their first brand new project solo.
Sure. And so we saw Virtual. Oh yeah, Witcher 4 had a long showcasey thing.
This I'm in.
Witcher 4, again, Witcher 4. Everyone knew Ciri was going to be our protagonist. If you've played the rest of the Witcher games, you know Geralt's story is over.
Well, and the
Ciri's
Geralt actor got in trouble because he mentioned publicly that he was still going to be in the franchise as something, either as a narrator or as something else.
Yeah, I believe he's going to be the narrator because he gets a little line at the end of the trailer.
Yeah.
But no. Cool.
And then
hopefully the development isn't a hellscape like Cyberpunk. Hopefully.
I think well, also what was crazy was I went back and rewatched. That's not a pre-rendered cinematic.
No, that's all in engine.
It's in engine, and it says on a currently unannounced RTX. It's on a 5090. That's what it is.
Oh, it's okay. All of CDPR's games will if you're a PC gamer, anytime a CDPR game comes out, you upgrade your system. That is an upgrading system kind of game.
It's running on a legitimate $2,000 video card, right? So it's like
100%. 100%.
It looks great, but what's funny that I think actually looked better is the final game, which we didn't get. I was surprised that we didn't get anything from the Exodus game. I was surprised that some of the other rumors, like the Half-Life 3, was not going to show up, no matter what people think. The other games there are other games that weren't going to show up. I am surprised we did not get from 2K the proper reveal of the BioShock game that's been in development for 6 years.
Oh yeah.
There's a few others that, again, surprised that we didn't see something from, but the big rumor was that Naughty Dog was going to show off their new IP that is not related to anything they've done previously, and it is a full 180 away from grounded, grimy zombies. And what do we get?
Yeah,
we get like a 1980s Japanese future inspired analog space tech bounty hunter Akira themed
Basically, Cowboy
game.
Bebop.
Cowboy Bebop with like Akira undertones.
Yeah.
And like that
It
with
looks like it's probably more God of War-y action combat.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like something like that. And Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, man, that lived in feel, like that alien
Oh
feel.
yeah.
Like driving
when
a
you see
Porsche.
this, yeah, when you see the, I saw the Sony on her on the CD jukebox thing, and then immediately saw the Porsche on the back of her spaceship. I was like, oh, that's cute.
That and like they've worked product placement into the game that in a way that it makes sense.
Yeah.
And there was like all I have to go back and watch the little Easter eggy things of all the different, like the board that walks by, it has all the lore dump of what's going on. And then Kunal Namjami, whatever his name is the bounty she's going after. It's like it very much has
the only weird thing is I don't feel like the voice of her agent matches the character.
Is it because
like
you were expecting Sigourney Weaver like I was?
It just doesn't it doesn't feel like that young of a voice should be coming out of that character.
Yeah, there was a bit of that.
That's the only thing that I had issues with.
But I mean, overall, it looks pretty sweet. I think we'll probably see more in the summer. But did they give a 2026 date or did they not give a date at all?
They didn't give a date at all, as far as I saw.
Yeah, so that's at least a 2-year wait.
Yeah,
but the big surprise was that we didn't get Wolverine.
Yeah,
I think Wolverine is probably going to be shown off next summer, and then that will be maybe next year.
You think? Oh, so you think that might be the game they show at their summer showcase before they do the
for sure.
Or do they give that to Jeff for Summer Game Fest?
That's
their holiday game.
Yeah, they either give it to Jeff if it's their holiday game. They're going to give it to Jeff. If it's going to be another year, they'll show it at their own showcase.
Yeah. Because that was, I mean, overall, when you look at some of the things that were here that we talked about, there was a lot of cool shit. They're just, I think for us personally, there weren't the big pulls we were hoping. Nothing from Persona 6.
There's some good announcements. Last of Us Part 2 is coming to PC in April, which means the season 2 of the TV show is probably coming in around that time.
Yeah. Well, they've been filming for how long now? So
I think they said it's coming out in February. I think.
No, they've said spring.
Okay.
So I'm thinking probably end of April.
Okay.
But also Final Fantasy Rebirth is coming to PC at the end of January, which means they are really gung-ho on getting these games onto fucking PC. God damn it.
Because that's only 11 months. It's not even the full year.
They want to boost their year-end financials. Doesn't surprise me.
That too. But also just like, they are, the new head of Square is not mincing words. They want multi-plat.
Well, and once that's out, we will have no official Final Fantasy in the pipeline. So that's how, like, sometime around that, usually we have January or February, they usually do a Sony State of Play. We better see something for like the Final Fantasy 9 remake that's been, on that list forever that we haven't seen anything from, or something else.
Give me Chrono Trigger,
give us some HD2D stuff. Give us something, because there's like nothing in the pipeline that they've shown from any of their big titles right now.
I mean, they've still got Kingdom Hearts in the oven currently.
Yeah, but that's going to depend on Nomura's crazy ass of how long it's going to take to get done.
Well, I mean, that's the next game Nomura is working on currently, so
yeah.
Maybe,
so I mean,
hopefully, I again, like, the fact that they're super promoting the Kingdom Hearts collection for the holiday gift guide, obviously. But also the fact that it's officially out on Steam and everything, everyone's relatively happy with the ports to PC. I think Kingdom Hearts is going to possibly get a reveal next year.
Because like right now, if you look them up, the only games they have announced is Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD, which 2025. I expect that'll be sooner than later. That'll be something that comes out.
That'll be like April.
Yeah, it'll be Q1
April.
fiscal year. And then around that time, they'll probably announce 4, 5, and 6 because of how well the third one sold.
Oh yeah.
Dragon Quest 12 has had production issues. They are now
12 is probably we're another year before we see 12.
Because they're at least a year behind at this point. They openly admitted. Yuji Horii said that they lost, they think, about 16 months of production because of the pandemic, because they as a studio were not prepared for it. So they lost almost 2 years. And then Kingdom Hearts 4 it could come out on the PS6, who knows. But they've got other titles in the works. We know they've got some smaller titles, especially now that they know the Pixel remasters and the HD 2D games are selling quite well.
Yeah, they can pump those out pretty quickly. I mean, they can get Acquire to do some stuff, or like there's so many options that Square has to expand their market share.
Yeah, and we haven't heard anything.
Platforms.
I forget which team it is internally that works on it, but we haven't heard anything from the team that does Octopath or Triangle Strategy.
Well, Acquire has been working on Brothership.
Well, no, but they have. I know that they outsource them. Their internal design team is what does the concepts for it. And then I forget what's the team that they farm out to do the Bravely games. We're probably due for another one of them.
They had Triangle Strategy.
Was it the same team? I can't remember.
I believe it was the Bravely team that did Triangle Strategy.
Because like there's some good stuff. Like we know they're not going to be doing, they said, a lot of the lower budget risky stuff anymore, but they'll do lower budget stuff that has high quality.
Yep.
Because Acquired did Octopath Traveler 2. I'm trying to see what was the. We ain't getting another Tactics Ogre, I'll tell you that. Or Harvestella.
I mean, like, okay. Here's the thing. I actually did pick up the Switch version of the Tactics Ogre remake, and it plays well.
Live Alive
was
done by a studio called Historia that I've never heard of before.
Ooh,
and
maybe
Triangle,
Historia's got a project.
Triangle Strategy is Art Dink as one word.
Okay.
And then it looks like the Pixel remasters was by Tosei, who they've worked with for years. I think they did a lot of the ports to the Game Boy or GBA.
They're a port machine.
So you got them, and like looking at the rest, where is it here? Let's see here. Rising Star, Trials of Mana, Collection of Bravely, Clay Tech Works. I don't even know who that. So they have different teams that work on it. So we'll see. We're probably due. It's been 3 years since we saw anything from those teams. So there's stuff there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I think next year
again, we're probably we're probably going to see maybe something from Clay Tech Works if Nintendo's publishing it with Switch 2. Maybe I don't know.
Here is my question for if they do like. We're sort of in speculative territory here because I think next year is a lot of the games are up in the air. We know the biggest game of next year is going to be GTA as long as it releases next year.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's releasing next year.
Well, exactly.
I genuinely do not think it's releasing next year, and it's going to screw everyone over.
If it does release, it's holiday, and it's going to dominate everything.
Well, no, it is going to be holiday if it does release. But I think it's going to move dates, and everyone has moved dates away from it beforehand, and they'll scramble around like chickens with their heads cut off.
How much do you want to bet at the Game Awards, or not Game Awards, at Summer Game Fest, they show a trailer with gameplay and then say you got to wait a little longer? They'll do something there, and that'll fuck things up. But like beyond that, so much is up in the air right now because we literally know nothing about what Nintendo is going to do after like February. So
again, we're all just sitting here going, Switch 2 in January, maybe.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, so we don't know them. That's one company. Microsoft has a bunch of games that do look good that should be coming, knock on wood, next year, right?
We're probably gonna get a Microsoft showcase like they've been doing in January for the last couple of years. So
because there's the claymation you look at, one was that South of Midnight.
Yeah, South of Midnight is supposed to be a spring game. I believe is their aim.
And they've already shown off here that like Outer Worlds 2 is next year. They had already
Outer Worlds 2 is probably a fall game.
They've already moved into the early part of the year. They moved
Avowed is in February,
Avowed, which is apparently looking a lot better than people expected. So there's a bunch that we already know them. Sony, we've got a lot of cool things that are like 2026 and some stuff in between. But the third party games from the big guys, we basically know nothing except for GTA. So
yeah,
Ubisoft is on fire. We have no idea. Like
Ubisoft has been on fire for the last like 5 years. Let's be honest.
I was gonna laugh so hard if we ended up seeing that Star Wars Eclipse game from David Cage. God. And I was like, are we gonna see that finally, or is it just vaporware still? Like, there's that.
Oh, it's still vaporware.
Oh, I forgot now because they didn't have a title for the game. There's the game made by the Ico guy, the old
Project Robot, I think is the title.
I can't pronounce his title. Yeah, I can't pronounce his name, but I think he was the main studio head or head developer at Japan Studio when they closed it, and now he's working with it was Epic Games, I think, is publishing it.
Yes, it's Epic,
and it's basically like Shadow of the Colossus, but you're climbing a giant mech and you're going to pilot a giant mech.
Yep.
Cool. So, I mean, there's that, like, but again, no dates on any of these things. So we don't know. Oh, and there was a racing game too that looked like an arcade racer with like anime characters. I forget which one that was.
I think that's also coming to mobile, so it's probably gotcha bullshit.
Who knows? We'll see. Yes, hopefully not. Fingers crossed. But yeah, that's pretty much that. Like, I think we can't really make predictions this year like we did last year and the year before because whenever a new console's on the horizon, like my prediction will
everyone's just waiting for the new console to announce all their shit.
Yeah, like all you can hope is that Astrobot, not right away, but lights a fire under Nintendo and goes, hey, look what they're doing on their tech with their stuff. They made, a game that is by all rights should have been a Nintendo game.
Yeah. Also this week, Astrobot just dropped free DLC with some Christmas free DLC, literally this week.
Yeah, I mean, and that's I'll finish any coverage of this by saying, when Joseph Fares talked about his game in his trailer, what did he say in his trailer? No loot boxes, no microtransactions, no bullshit. And that's how he advertised the game.
And it's also coming in March.
Yeah. And yeah, that's right. Coming in March 6th, I think he said. So that's cool. I mean, that's pretty much what I have. Like next year, I just hope we get, some cool RPGs. I hope they spread them out because from freaking end of January, like
you don't want to have another hellscape.
Well, it was
this year.
It was 2 times. January for like the last week of January through like the second week of March was like 4 AAA RPGs. And then we had like 5 of them from September until November. And it was like, oh my God, spread them out. Because I feel like a lot of the games, Final Fantasy eclipsed a lot of stuff, but I feel like Final Fantasy at this point should have probably come out in like June. But they wanted to get it out before the end of that fiscal quarter, right? So it was all politics for them. But yeah, like that's pretty much it. I don't have any other way to close this other than I just hope next year is as good as this year because we had a ton of good games this year, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty pleased overall. So I guess before we close this out, what were your top 3 games of the year? I'm just going to offer mine. Just to kind of set the tone. Plus, I want to get out of here. I'd say for me, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection was a dream. I did not expect this to ever come out, and I've been talking about it for literally years because I never thought it would happen. Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero. Did not expect this game to be as good as it was. The fact that it gets my attention for at least half an hour or more per day, and I'm playing solely ranked, that says something to me that I am interested in the competitive scene. So I'll watch videos on the meta, but I won't use Ultra Instinct Goku or Gogeta because I refuse to use high tier characters, and that's a me thing, trust me. Go fucking Raditz. And then my number one game of the year is probably Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Did not expect to like it as much as I did. Got it at release and dropped it almost immediately because life got busy. My advocacy work took me away from almost everything. And I was pleasantly surprised how many hours I put in it. Now, PlayStation just did their annual PlayStation Wrapped. I put 127 hours into
Oh, wow.
it. Yeah,
I should check out my Wrapped as well.
And I loved it so much so that for Christmas, Blair is going to get me a tattoo of Red 13. That story, that's how much it got to me. And obviously with Red 13 being the indigenous coded character, I see a lot of good themes in there. Plus I love Bugenhagen. I love Aerith, Tifa. Yuffie became a favorite character of mine in this because she was annoying in the originals, but I really like her here.
They even found a way to make Kate Sith not annoying.
Yeah, like they really made this awesome. Plus, as I mentioned during this show, Don Cornero raps. I'm fucking in for that. And most unexpected joy this year, did not expect Helldivers 2. That's really surprising to me. So yeah, those are my picks, guys. Go ahead. Let's close out the year strong.
I'll say mine. My three would be Metaphor in third place. I loved a lot of games, so like it's hard to pick, but Metaphor would be number 3, Astro's number 2, and Final Fantasy was number 1. For basically the same reasons that you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, I have a lot of games that I love. I really liked the Dragon Quest game that I played. There's a lot of stuff I really liked, and like this year was a year of like a lot of 8 out of 10s, like really 8 or 9 out of 10s, and then my top 3 I would give pretty much a 9 or a 10 for the most part. So that's that. What about you, Ken? What were your top 3 games?
Yeah, so for me, I mean, if I were to say anything, Balatro sucked so much time, way too much time that I do not want to say how long. And then there's also Infinite Wealth was just 10 out of 10 amazing experience, start to finish. UFO 50 is I'm still sinking into that game because there's literally 50 video games in it.
That I felt should have gotten a little more praise.
Well, it's not out on console yet, so once it hits console, people will start messing around with it. And then also, just as an honorable mention, Hades 2, I have sunk almost 100 hours into Hades 2 already. The game's not even officially out yet. And I've got like a bunch of just smaller stuff to complete before I have everything done in Hades 2, including the new content that came out literally a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, there's just like once Hades 2 comes out, which will be next year, that's probably going to be my game of the year, just period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
That's fair.
Because it's so good. It's just so good.
Oh, okay. So, it's nice that we had like different perspectives on some of these games. Like Hades is not something I would play.
Not even once. Sorry, Ken.
Not that I don't have a problem with it. It's just not for me. But it's like I like that we have people on the crew that are different than us. Like Mike's the big fighting game guy, and then like the horror game guy. I'm the RPG, and then like the like visual novel or like storytelling ones, and then Ken's like cool shit that I couldn't play because I wouldn't be good enough. I pulled up my Wrapped, by the way, guys. It says I played 81 games this year. That's how many games I got for review.
I got 79 was mine.
Yeah, I will also say as an honorable mention, I do want to give some props to Persona 3 Reload.
Oh, that was fun, yeah. But again, just so many RPGs. Okay, so Mike, it says here Final Fantasy was my number 2 as far as like gameplay. So my top 5, it says of hours that I put into games was Dragon Quest 3. I put 33 hours in, which is about right for that game. Metaphor was 38 hours. It's not as long of an RPG as you think, and I did basically 100% that game almost. Dragon Age, 55 hours. Final Fantasy, 107 hours. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, 123. And that's not even like, and like, I only poured like 12 hours into the island building. You could do 100 hours in that alone.
Yes, I have 113, so, and I didn't touch, I touched on Doko for probably an hour or two, and I went through most of the Pokemon knockoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did all of that, but okay, I'll finish my last thing on here is that your gameplay style, role player, you spent 79% of your game experience worlds in immersive narrative RPGs. No shit. So, and also, and considering I played all the RPGs, it says that for this year, I played 610 hours.
I think I have 650, or sorry, 750 for mine.
So 610 hours, if you add that percentage up, 80%. I spent over 400 hours playing RPGs on PlayStation alone.
My top 5, I'm trying to recall. I know one of them was Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, which I'm surprised how many hours I still put into that. Sparking Zero, Baldur's Gate, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Dead Rising remastered.
No Far Cry 6 dailies?
No, what they stopped doing all the cool shit. Very sad.
But because Xbox put theirs out as well. I'm
barely played Xbox this year.
Yeah, because I play on PC, so it counts the PC time.
Oh,
as well.
That's right.
So 108 hours on PC. Playing Xbox titles through the Xbox app. Persona 3 Reload I'm in the top 15% of the most active gamers. Let's see. Top 20% of players for time played, top 15% of players for the gamer score, because I 100%ed Persona 3 and went through all of Call of Duty's campaign. You're in the top 10% of players for achievements unlocked as well.
Oh.
So, yeah. Yeah. And then also, I just saw this because I played this on PC and I thought I was sad that it was as short as it was. Turnip Boy Robs a Bank.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. The game is like 10 hours to 100% it. And
that's
that kind of made it just kind of made me sad. I was just like, oh, I thought I wanted a little more. Because it's a roguelike. So it's like once you and it has like very little replayability once you beat it.
Well, so it's a once and done, but it's a good experience then.
Yeah,
I just loaded up my Xbox. It says you're a night owl, as in like night, like as in like a night of the round table. You prefer quests over objectives with all the magic of a good dungeon, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, total time was 113 hours on Xbox. So significantly less than PlayStation, which is unsurprising. And 70 hours of that was Persona 3 Reload. Persona 5 Tactica was 18 hours. High on Life was 10 hours. And that's it for my top 3.
Where do you get this? Your like Xbox One?
You go to Xbox.com
just go to-
and scroll down to near the bottom, and it has a year in review that you can click on.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I wonder if Nintendo's is up. Let's just pull all that up now. That's our predictions for the future. Do you think we're going to play more on
I don't know if
platforms?
Nintendo's is out yet. Yeah, it's still not out here. It's still not out yet.
Let's see.
Nintendo's isn't out yet. They'll probably do it next week. But yeah, mine is our hero, protagonist check, action adventure check, skill trees and inventory management. Ooh yeah. Because I played so much Persona 3 Reload.
All right, year in review. Let's see. I was a big time brawler. Oh my god, this is gonna depress you. Guess how many hours I played this year on Xbox?
20.
38.
What? It's
Oh my!
percentage wise. How much?
91%. Not is Nintendo's up?
I'm looking
Nope.
right now. What does it say?
I'm seeing nothing. I'm just seeing the 2023 stuff.
The game I played the most was Star Wars Outlaws, which I really enjoy. I thought it was quite fun, actually. My top games were Star Wars Outlaws, Skull and Bones, if you can believe that.
Oh god.
Yeah, I was one of the
God.
few people that played that, and Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
and then
Call of Duty's
Starfield.
campaign is one of the best in years.
it might be the best that they've had in like
Yeah, damn
12 years or
damn
more.
near. Yeah, it's and also it's just like it's one of those campaigns where I'm gonna remember a lot of it because it was just fun.
Oh yeah,
It's just straight up a fun
Not-
game.
not as many like twists and turns as Cold War, but like with different
Right.
endings, but still good stuff with like the secrets to find and all that. But yeah, so I guess it looks like Nintendo's one. They're launching it next week. That's what they
Okay.
said. But yeah, so I imagine not as much for me on there except for a few of the RPGs, but like that shows you almost 120-ish hours on Xbox total that I played. 70 hours was one RPG. And then like
Yeah.
and then so I literally played 6 times the amount on my PlayStation,
Which
because
is it's such a switch now, eh?
like it used to be for reviews and that we were doing. It was more like a 2-to-1 ratio. So like if I had like 400 hours on PlayStation, I'd have 200 hours on Xbox. I know you were always like 10-to-1 ratio. You played like on Xbox more than anything.
Yeah, for me this year I got more games for review on PlayStation. But this year I was taking a back seat to a lot of reviews because Alex just had more time. So I would play as much as I needed to offer a coherent opinion. And I did what I did. I mean, I would finish with games that I could really power through and have some real fun with, like, Dead Rising being a prime example of that. But it sucks because I like the ecosystem of Xbox's Call of Duty community more. But I find myself on PlayStation more often than not. My PlayStation is the first thing that I boot up during the day to play a game. My Xbox, I use it to watch Blu-rays. Alex, Ken, you guys both remember when that used to be the opposite.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like I'm excited to play Great Circle, Indiana Jones. I've heard
I do have a
things.
review code for that. I just need to download it today. They just gave it to me yesterday.
I've heard just amazing things for it, and excited to see that. Again, it came out literally a week ago, so can't really talk about it for the year. I played a lot of Switch. Switch is kind of Switch is an interesting beast because it's like this year has been more handheld than it has been just sitting down and playing it on the monitor. So
I have 2 Switches, right? I have the launch Switch or the red box revision of it that I have. I have not turned that on. It's been docked, plugged into the wall, but docked.
You might want to check on that.
Yeah, I haven't had it on. Like it's been it's standby, but it's still powered, so the battery hasn't drained. But it's been plugged into my TV for months. And like and I haven't turned it on in months. Every review that I've done has been on my Switch OLED in portable mode because the color looks good, but also like performance has been so bad on every single game the whole year in docked mode.
Yeah.
Like we are now 2 years probably later than they should have launched the new console.
Thank you, pandemic.
Yeah.
Good times. All right, guys. So we're going to close things out here on the show. There's going to be a lot of pre-recorded content. I know me and Ken are recording stuff with David Denoyer from Do You Even Movie for Loose Cannon. So stay tuned for that. We are planning on a Christmas special. We just need to get those schedules aligned. Me and JT are recording something in the next little bit. We are taking time off. I'm not taking as much as I would like, but that's okay. I want to make sure you guys always have content. We're just not killing ourselves to get stuff done. So as of right now, we are going to be coming back with live shows in late January. We're either coming back on the 20th or the 27th of January. Just depends on how much time we need off, because it would be nice. I realize I'm losing my voice and this sucks. So that's a good time. Other than that, though, guys, thank you for joining us this last year. It's always fun to talk the Game Awards. It's always fun to offer ideas up on the gaming community, such as it may be. In terms of interesting content coming up on the site, like I said, we do have some stuff that's being recorded. I do have an exclusive botched roll that's coming up on the site where I talk with Mike from Continuing Conversations from Star Trek Adventures, and we're going to talk about my involvement with that. So that'll be coming up hopefully soon. So we'll have a link somewhere. Other than that, though, guys, I guess we're going to get out of here. So for This Week in Geek for 2024, we have been
Alex, the producer.
Shut up.
Alex,
Ken
the
from
producer.
this anime.
I'm Mike. Fuck yous both. Be excellent to each other.
You just went the most hillbilly Northern Ontario. Fuck yous both. Fuck yous and the goose you rode in on.
Yes, because peace was never an option. We'll catch you guys next time right here on This Week in Geek.net.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Thanks for listening to this episode of This Week in Geek. Hungry for more? Check out our website at thisweekingeek.net. You can subscribe to the podcast, browse our Twitter and Instagram, and leave your thoughts on today's topics. If you'd like to give us some feedback, send us an email at feedback@thisweekingeek.net. Tune in next time, and remember,
Lower your shields and surrender your listenership.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Thank you for your cooperation. Good night.